What's good, y'all? It's King Steph, and I'm coming at you with a new video on the big bro Choso, mainly talking about what I think of the possibilities of his future as a character and what he can do in the Culling game, and possibly later on in the series, maybe near the end, never know. But I don't like to waste time, so let's get right into the video. As we know right now, is with Yuki to guard Tengen from Kenjaku. Whenever Kenjaku attempts to fuse Tengen with the whole Earth and cursed spirits and all that crazy plan that Kenjaku wants to do, whenever that happens, pretty much Choso was there to protect him. And most of us JJK fans are predicting that Choso was going to die in this situation, trying to protect Tengen and dying to Kenjaku, the man that manipulated his family and his brothers. Now me, I like Choso a lot. He's one of my favorite characters, and in the back of my head, I know he's probably not going to survive to the end of the series, and if he does, I'd be shocked. But honestly, I like to do these kind of what ifs and these fun predictions. So what I'm thinking is, we all know that when Choso arrived into the inventory, one of the main plots of even before meeting Tengen was the fact that he found his other brothers that were locked up in the inventory, along with Maki trying to look for the weapons and stuff. So he found his brothers, and one of his goals is he actually wants to bring them all back. Now me, I really like that, and that was one of the main portions I liked the most, because it gives us a possible future with Choso, and that not only does he want to take out Kenjaku, the man who pretty much ruined his whole family, but he also wants to bring back his brothers. He has, I believe, like 7 to 8 of them. It's a lot of them. He wants to bring them back. I just want to talk about the possibilities of what could possibly happen when we finally get back to Choso and Yuki. Now, we all know that Yuki isn't a solidified character in what side she's on. She's a very, unpredictable character that we know right now. And a lot of people are also predicting that possibly Yuki's gonna turn on Choso or whatever. But before I even delve into that, I want to dab into the whole brother thing and possibly him reviving all his brothers, and what this could possibly mean for a theme, and honestly what this could do for the rest of the sorcerers. Now let's just say if Choso does bring back his brothers, what could this mean? What would this simplify, other than the fact that Choso completed what he wanted to do? Well, this also leads us to believe if Choso brings them back, he has to be there, because if he's not, they could be easily manipulated, as in they don't know what their goal or plan would be. Because remember, Eso and Kechizu, they were manipulated by Kenjaku to look for a Sukuna arm that they knew was going to be there, and they essentially got killed because of that. Because honestly, I think Kenjaku knew that Yuji and Nobara was going to be way stronger than Kechizu and Eso, so those two died. And with these possible brothers coming out, this gives Choso kind of a more big brother last stand. If he can revive his brothers, and let's say he is fighting Kenjaku, he will be the one to sacrifice his life, and the others will be able to escape or maybe roam free. Because if Kenjaku and Choso are in a situation where they're fighting, I honestly don't see Choso coming out of that. Kenjaku just comes off as way too strong, way too many utilities with the cursed spirits and all this other stuff, and we don't even know if he's got any other hidden techniques, like possibly a domain expansion. So it's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to fighting Kenjaku, because we don't know what he's going to be, bringing to the table. Something that it might not just be me, but something I always just wanted to see. I need to see Kamo and Choso interact, because I mean they kind of foreshadowed it at the end of Shibuya that Kamo, basically that funny interaction that they kind of had when they announced that Kamo Noritoshi, and Kamo's head popped up because he's like, they talking about me or something like that. And basically when that happened, a lot of people kind of speculating that we might see something with Kamo and Choso later on through the story. And I think that could possibly happen, because I just want to see Choso and Kamo's kind of interactions, to see what Kamo thinks of basically, I would assume these are his brothers as well, or maybe relatives of some sort, because Yuji is more so of he's basically straight up Choso's brother. I mean, he came from the same, Kenjaku and all that, like Choso. And I don't know if Kamo himself did too. I'm gonna assume that he did as well. And if he does play a part in this, I think that'd be dope to see, mainly because we get more Kamo interaction. Well, more so Kamo development. And let's say if Choso, does get killed or whatever, maybe we can get Kamo learning something from Choso, and he becomes better at blood manipulation, because Choso already is like, when you think of blood manipulation, Choso has it, he has it down, basics. He created his own moves, all this type of stuff. He knows how to use it for close combat, mid-range, even long-range tracking. Like, he's got it all when it comes to like using the blood manipulation and all that. And if he can kind of teach Kamo something of that nature before he goes out too, and maybe something crazy like Kamo leaves the new brothers if they are resurrected, you know, that would be something crazy. And it would be it would give Kamo like even a bigger role, because Kamo was kind of introduced as like, other than Todo, he was second, because Mekamaru, after his fight with Mahito, I know it's got a little bit off track, but Mekamaru kind of took over that spot of, okay, in Kyoto it kind of goes Todo, Mekamaru, and then Kamo. But I think if Kamo does have like, some interaction in this arc, mainly to tie into that Kamo no Otoshi storyline, he could really boost up as a character, and I think it could really like affect everybody, like even Megami, because we all know like the whole three big family connection. I think that would be dope as well to see. And if the brothers do come back, it'll be like a kind of like a resurrection of the Kamo no Otoshi bloodline and the whole family, and he could kind of lead that. And I think that'd be cool, because technically Kamo is the next head, but it's like he's not really leading anything. So that's just something I want to think about and just kind of put that in the atmosphere, like something that could possibly happen, because we don't know the big three family thing is, it's another like subtle side storyline that is pretty big when it comes to like the politics and the whole world building of JJK. So that's another thing I want to throw out there real quick before I get into the stuff with Yuki. But just to go, matter of fact, we're gonna go straight into the Yuki stuff. I now that I look at it more with Yuki and Choso, and kind of wondering like, other than the obvious that they are like the seniors compared to Megami, Maki, Yuji, and etc., that Yuki brings something that is kind of parallel to what Choso is. Yuki is a very free thinker, from what we know and remember from her conversation with Geto back in Star Plasma. Now, back in Star Plasma, long story short, Yuki kind of gave Geto this kind of ultimatum, like, I'm not saying what you're doing is terrible, when he gave the idea of possibly just getting rid of all the humans because of the negative first energy and they can't control it. She put it in a way of, you can do this. I personally think, you know, it is a crazy idea. I'm not going to support you. I'm just going to let you know, if you do it, that's you. I'm not really someone who's confined to like what is good, what is bad. It's more so of like, whatever you feel is right in your own nature. That's kind of the character she is. And when you think of Choso is kind of this, he is a character to where loyalty and like being bound to protecting people is his thing. It's almost inherited in him, to where that's really all he knows. Ever since we first seen Choso, he was always looking for Eso and Kechizu, making sure they were okay. And now that we got Yuji, he's always being around Yuji. When Yuji was going through that whole kind of like dark and depression, you know, mindset that he was going through post Shibuya, Choso was kind of like, he was literally that big brother nature, and he always had that. His whole thing before anything was, I'm gonna make sure Yuji's okay. And now that he's in a situation to where he might not even, you know, have to go and be protective of someone like a Tengen, you know, like, it's just a whole bunch of possibilities that can come from that. And those two being together, I wouldn't be surprised if whenever we go back to Yuki and Choso, we get a conversation of like, with Yuki and Choso, kind of like Yuki trying to get into the mindset of Choso, someone who is bound to something because that's just inherently what he thinks is good, consider like what Kamo did and what he thinks is bad, and etc. It's just a lot of stuff I think that what Choso brings. He's a subtle character and a side character to where he's not obviously as important compared to like a Yuji, Megami, a Maki, even a Hakari or a Yuta at this point. But I think his character itself can bring so many storylines together, and kind of like, he's one of those characters to where he brings another web, and like he ties into this and this and this. And I just think that's so cool that a character like Choso, someone who isn't put on this whole pedestal compared to the other characters, you know, that he can tie in so much together, theme wise and narratively. I just think that's so dope. And that's basically what I have all when it comes to my ideas for the future of Choso, what I think he could possibly do later on and down the line if he makes it to the end of the series. And one of my favorite characters, I hope we get more cool moments from him going down. And man, if we ever get Choso versus Kenjaku, I just hope, you know, Choso put in that work. I hope he don't get body bag. That's all I know. But hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know how you feel about Choso down in the comment section. What you think will be happening for him later on down the line in the series.